Today, guys, I want to talk about the free legendary hero that we are all getting in Season 1. Is it worth investing in Scharlach or no? We are getting a free legendary artifact and a free legendary hero. So I am talking about the 7-day journey right here. Now, I have this hero on both of my accounts, guys. I've been using him since the beta because he was my second legendary that I've ever pulled. So in today's video, we're going to do a deep dive and see how much this champion can actually help your account. This video is brought to you by Dragonheir Silent God, so I just want to say a big thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. If you guys are new around here, if you haven't tried Dragonheir Silent Gods, you can download the game by using my link in the description down below or in the pinned comment or by scanning the QR code you see on the screen. But heading straight to Scharlach, guys. So we're going to review the actual character. We are going to review a bit the artifact as well. Keep in mind, in order to make any character work in Dragonheir Silent Gods, you need characters from the same elemental affinity to kind of like bring them to their full potential, especially if they are damage dealers. Now, Scharlach, he is honestly the best summoner in Dragonheir Silent Gods because he doesn't just summon a random weak skeleton, he actually summons the Fear Bearer, who actually has pretty good stats, he can stay alive, and deal a decent amount of damage. This is an AoE skill. Now, if the Fear Bearer dies, he's gonna be able to summon him over and over and over again. Then you have the battle skill that deals AoE damage. Overall, the multipliers are not bad on the character, but they're not great either. Honestly, 500 attack is not that great, and 300 again on a small AoE. The passive, each ally summoned unit on the battlefield grants 1 stack of Abyssal Pact to the Fear Bearer up to 5 stacks. Now, this means that you really want to use him with other summoners. So, in my opinion, the best option would be Joyce, the epic character that will basically summon copies of himself, which again, they have pretty good stats. He can summon up to 3 copies. And if you have different summoners in the team, you can get quite a bit of extra damage from here. This is a pretty decent passive, especially if you have a lot of summoners in the team. Then you have a HP aura for all battles, which I like because it's all battles. Now, it's not attack, which is a bit odd why HP, but I guess, hey, that can help you too if you don't have anything better than that. If we are quickly going to talk about the artifacts, guys. So, this is the free artifact that you're getting, the Great Demon Skull. You're getting attack and crit rate. Now, this is absolutely massive early on. To be able to pinch that crit rate on your characters. I would say that overall is not a bad artifact. It's definitely a pretty solid one for the Necros. When an ally summons an undead creature, necrotic damage dealt by the wearer will increase by a specific amount up to 5% for 10 seconds, and you have 6 stacks. Now you need a lot of summons to make this work, and the thing is the ally needs to summon the undead creature. Now, this should actually affect the wearer too, because usually they are considered as allies. At least that's how it works in most cases with passives and different things in Dragonheir Silent Gods. So it would work on Scharlach as well. But I do prefer to give him a different artifact that will basically increase the damage, like the Eyeball of the Giant. I think is a much better option, at least for me at the moment with the characters that I have in play. So I'm gonna take this character for a spin, guys. I'm going to tell you the pros. I'm going to tell you the cons. Now, the one thing that I would strongly suggest you not to do is do not scroll this character. The reason for it, I have him, how I mentioned, since the beta. He was my second legendary. And I am getting value out of him without the scrolls. Now, scrolls, they are pretty scarce, and you have a much higher priority by using them on either support characters from different elemental affinity or characters that will really change the game if you actually scroll them. Damage dealers in general, they shouldn't be your main priority when you are using scrolls. And if you are really looking to scroll somebody, I would strongly suggest you scroll Erich over Scharlach all day long. Now, Erich, he has a very good utility in pretty much every single season, and overall, he's just more beneficial for the Vortex team and other areas like that. I actually decided to scroll mine the other day, so here we go. My first legendary scrolled on the free-to-play account. Now, Scharlach, guys, because he is a summoner, let me just give you the cons first, then we're going to go to the pros, okay? Let me just give you the cons, because there are more cons than pros with the summoners in general, not just with this character. So, right here, is not going to be great for the Grave of Venom. The reason for it, the boss will have the AoE attack. You cannot really dodge the AoE attack if you have a summoner in there, right? Because he's going to summon the Fear Bearer. The Fear Bearer will basically move around here next to the tank. And then when the boss is using the AoE skill, he will actually kill your summoned unit, which will pretty much kind of like be pointless because he's not really going to get to do any damage. Now, if we are talking about different dungeons, for example, let's just take the Grave of Curse. So for the Grave of Curse, again, it's not going to be the best option because the boss will use that ultimate, deal a lot of damage on your summon unit, if not kill it, and it will just basically help the boss to gain a bigger shield. And overall, summoners are not great in dungeons. So it's not just something in particular with Scharlach. How I mentioned, he is one of the better summoners, but just in general, they're pretty weak in the game, and it goes the same for the Grave of Wrath again. You can use him in there. Definitely not a problem in the Grave of Wrath if you want him as a damage dealer, as long as you have the right support around him. Same for the Ancient Battlefield. He doesn't buff, so that can work pretty nice, but you do need different characters that will bring you a decreased attack or the right debuffs, at least to kind of like make the whole thing work. Same with the Heretical Ruins. Now, one place where I really think that a lot of players will get a lot of value from is the Pillar of Trials, guys. So right here, you do have all of the elemental affinities, and if we're doing the Pillar of Dark, basically, that's where the Necro and Frost comes in play in Season 1. What I do like about Season 1 now, guys, is that we are getting some very, very specific pieces of gear. Like I have this chest plate right here, gives you attack, gives you crit rate. The wearer gains 2% attack for each dead unit on the field, 5 stacks at most. So again, this is going to be really, really helpful for summoners. It's literally created for them. So I like that we have some amazing pieces of gear that were added now in Season 1. So this is the build that I have on him. I do want to go with the Eyeball of the Giant, guys. I have a decent amount of crit damage, almost full crit rate, pretty good attack, I would say, almost 5k, considering that my gear is not just perfect. My Psychic Core and the rest of the things are not insane. But let me just quickly show you how he actually performs in here compared to the rest of the heroes, you know, because he is mainly the main damage dealer in here. Now, Gulende can drop a lot of damage. Zarlot can drop a lot of damage. So it really depends who gets to kill more enemies in here, who gets to deal more damage. But for the Pillar of Trials, I've been using him in every single season, guys, because he's actually pretty dope as a damage dealer, you know. He does put quite a bit of work in here. I do like to run this on the 10x speed is absolutely amazing. So check out the statistics. So right here we have Scharlach with 35.7%, and no scrolls. Gulende is not scrolled. Ripkias is not scrolled. Zarlot is not scrolled. Megan, she is scrolled if I remember that correctly. But overall, they are doing pretty well. Now I do have some amazing legendaries as well. I got fortunate enough to summon Gulende, summon Ripkias as well, out of a purple dice, you know. So that was really helpful, at least for my Pillar of Trials team. And I will be doing the Chief Challenge. I really think that he's great in there, and I've been running him in there in the beta and in season 1. So he's actually pretty dope. Now, once you start collecting a lot of OP legendaries, guys, and more OP epics, some of these legendaries will fall off, you know, like right now in Season 3, I haven't even leveled up my Scharlach, you know, like I do have better options than him, and I don't go with summoners because summoners are so weak in general, you know, that is pretty pointless to try and go against some of the bosses that have big AoEs. You cannot hide your summons. They die pretty quick. And if you don't have the 2 OP legendaries from the Necrosis, like the one that basically eats the summons, the exclusive, I forgot her name right now, or you have Premza, is really not that much that you can do with summoners. Now, Joyce as an epic, I feel like he's absolutely amazing. And by the way, this is not the optimal team to run him. You do want to have some summoners in the team, so the Fear Bearer is actually getting some some extra damage. Now, in my case, I don't have another summoner available, leveled up. I do have Joyce. I got fortunate enough to summon him, but I have no materials to level him up as well, you know? Free to play, it is a bit more difficult. The main place where I think that you guys will gain value out of Scharlach, guys, will be the Chief Challenge, especially if you are in Season 1, because, hey, you need to build 6 different teams, 1 for each elemental affinity, and who has so many freaking heroes in Season 1, right? So this is my team right here. Talendor is the exclusive for Radiance. He covers the entire freaking map with his ultimate. There is no way on how you can hide your characters or do anything to basically stop them from being hit. And the positioning, it doesn't really matter. There is no secret about it, guys. I'm just going to put them in a diamond shape. So we are getting basically the defense up on everybody. We're getting the heal on everybody from Megan, you know. And that's the whole thing with the positioning. Now, I will have a lot of RNG. Zarlot not booked, not 100% chance to put recharge speed penalty. The other problem will be not 100% chance to land decrease attack. I do have my Ripcast scrolled. I decided to scroll him because I will gain a lot of value out of this character throughout the seasons, to be honest. He is an amazing character, and he will be massive for the Feymander as well. So absolutely no regrets in getting this done. I do have as well the Spiritual Incense Burner on him. The main thing that I need to try to do is to put block buffs so the boss is not gaining rally. Now, it's extremely hard to time that because of all of the other variables that I just explained you before. Not knowing when recharge speed penalty drops, not knowing when we're dropping the ultimate energy on the boss, and that completely messes up the cycle on the boss. Usually it has an 18-second cycle. Now with this, sometimes it's going to be 20, sometimes it's going to be 21, sometimes it's going to be 22 if we're landing it twice in a cycle, if we put a recharge speed penalty. Sometimes it's going to be less than that. So it's impossible for me to time this team as it is right now, because there are a lot of variables in here. So I'm going to have to pray for RNG. Now, the good thing about summoned units is that you can heal them, you can shield them, you can buff them, and try to keep them alive. The bad thing about summoned units is that this is general for every single content, for every single summoner in the game. You are just not getting value throughout the fight out of them. And this is for the Temporal Vortex, dungeons, Chief Challenges, etc. The main reason is that most of the summoned units are melee units. Either the skeletons, either the Fear Bearer, either whatever else you're summoning, the dragon, etc. They all go close to the boss. The boss will deal AoE damage, and not just this boss in general, just most of the bosses. So they will kill the summoned units pretty quick, which kind of like puts you in a bad spot because you're not really gaining value out of those characters. And it will be pretty much the same sort of situation here. Now, the other thing that is a bit more annoying with Scharlach is that we have the Fear Bearer out there. He just decided to use his ultimate skill. We dealt some damage. And if the boss right now decides to use the ultimate skill and kill our Fear Bearer, we're going to have to wait quite a bit of time before we are going to summon that Fear Bearer again. Which means that we're not going to have enough playtime. Like, check this out. We just used the ultimate. The Fear Bearer just died. So right now we're going to have to wait again 20 seconds without the Fear Bearer on the map dealing damage. So that's a very, very bad thing that will happen all the time on Oro, especially in this fight. How I mentioned, it's very chaotic, everything that happens in here. I don't have Scharlach scrolled, and it will be impossible for me to time it. This time around, he decided to use the ultimate at the right moment, after the boss is using the ultimate skill. In theory, you would wanna time him like that. The only problem is there are a lot of variables in here, guys, and my Scharlach is not scrolled, which means that the boss can overlap him at any time, or not overlap him. It really depends on the entire situation, if we're landing the recharge speed penalty or no. Do we have the things that we need on here to ensure that everybody is running their skills at the same time? Unfortunately not, and it does have to do mainly with the lack of scrolls in all of their skills, basically, you know. Okay, so we have no block buffs. Ripcast let us down right now. We do have decrease attack. Hopefully, it's not going to expire. Oh, it expired. Do not die. Stay alive. Put a decrease attack. Do something, please. Decrease attack. Thank you. Zarlot, stay alive. Okay, we lost our fear bearer again. Thankfully, Zarlot stayed alive because I was worried there for a second that he was gonna go down. Come on, decrease attack, block. No block buffs. Okay, so that's a bit of a rip. Not having that block buffs is just so painful because the boss, he will use his ultimate right now, kill my fear bearer. But the good thing is that we got the 11 million damage, or we are very close to it. Hopefully we are going to get it. Like, it's gonna be pretty unlikely not to get it from here, but either way, you never know what to expect. So if we are paying attention to the damage, guys, we have a Scharlach with 4.3 million damage, 37.6%. Then you have Gulende with 22%, Zarlot with 21%, and you have Ripcast with 15.6%. He's not even built for damage or anything like that. So, how I mentioned, Ripcast is definitely an amazing tank, and I can say good game over. Good game, you know. I can say good game right now because the boss went ham with that rally, you know. It's game over. But hey, I know I cannot reach 22 million damage without changing the team, without putting in some scrolls and stuff. So, overall, I'm satisfied with the result. 12.4 million damage. Total damage, how I mentioned, Scharlach doing a pretty awesome job. Almost 5 million damage. So we're going to save this one, claim the resources from here, and call it a day. If you guys want to see more guides on these bosses, guys, I've already done some when I was in Season 1 with my main. I can do some from the free-to-play account. It will be quite a bit of a different experience. Probably I will do some on the other bosses as well. But for Arena, guys, this is what we are going to run. We're going to do a couple of different fights just to kind of like get an idea of what he can do. This is a pretty weak team, so we're quickly going to farm maybe a couple of them before we get to the actual fights. We can use his HP aura in here if we want. That will help the tank. Or we can use the attack one. I feel like it's going to be overall more beneficial. We have the exact same builds, but I'm going to walk you through the build in a second. So let's quickly wipe this off because this is going to be pretty straightforward. There isn't much that they can do versus us in here. Ripcast is actually so strong in Arena, guys. Of course, not when you're going against the most OP legendaries, but just in general, he's definitely a pretty solid one. So let's try to go versus Demon. He has at least level 90 characters. He's using Scharlach, but in a pretty weird combination. He does have a Premca. Okay, so we have the decrease attack on him. Beautiful. So we got this one down too. Once we're gonna get a decent opponent, guys, I'm gonna remove the increase speed on the run. You know, so this right here, perfect opponent. So I'm gonna drop the 10x speed and we're gonna go on 2x. So he is using Scharlach as well, and he is using Izitarian too. So we have the skeletons that are coming on. The Fear Bearer went straight to my Scharlach. Hopefully he's not going to get killed before I'm using the ultimate. So there we go. We dropped our Fear Bearer in. Izitarian bringing in nothing because he just went down. So they are pretty strong in PvP. Of course, he's not meta for PvP or anything like that, but he can be pretty nice. He will deal the AoE damage. He will summon the Fear Bearer, which will distract the enemy backline. It could distract the enemy frontline too, depending on where the Fear Bearer gets summoned, you know. So I do think that there is a potential with what you can do in Arena. So this is a meta combo in a way or another. So let's actually try to play it a bit different in here. So let's make sure that Vitar doesn't hit us. I will sacrifice my Zarlot and Voresh in there to get the fear from the other ones there. They will get hit by the ultimate. So there we go. We have Ripcast dropping that ultimate energy. Can we get one ultimate with Scharlach? There we go. Boom! We took that Vitar down. So they can put in some work in PvP to help you farm some seals, you know. They're not meta. He's not meta for PvP, but he's not bad. Sigrid, she's still very strong if you have a good poison fire team for season 1, you know. But that was all for this video, guys. quickly to show you the build on my Scharlach, and this is what we have in terms of total stats. You can see them right here at the top of the right screen. Conclusion: he is decent. Do not invest scrolls in him. You will regret it later on. Use him. Don't necessarily just disregard him because you've heard other things. I do think that he can offer you quite a bit of value. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as well. That was all for the video. Thanks again to Dragonheir for sponsoring today's video. And if you guys are new around here and you want to try Dragonheir Silent Gods, you can click on that link in the description down below to download the game or scan the QR code you see on the screen. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.